So we are in the 18th chapter, and it's a conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. So we already have finished Bhagavad Gita shloka in till chapter 17th, and 18 is just the summary of Bhagavad Gita. So, and today's we are going to cover 15 and 16. So 15 and 16 we are going to cover. So chapter number 14 onwards, it's very important. Chapter 14 onwards, Lord is discussing this topic, which is very important. So he's talking about the 5 factors. For any action, there are 5 factors which is very important to accomplish any kind of action. So we'll see that in more detail. So first we will go through slok number 15 and 16, and then we'll see right from shlok number 14 till 16, we'll see the details. So shlok number 14 is actually making the actual basis for this 15 and 16. So shloka number 15, Sharira Vaka Manobhiya Karma Parabhate Nara Nyayam Va Viparitam Va Panchayate Tasya Hetava. Whatever right or wrong action a man performed by body, mind, or speech is caused by these 5 factors. Slok number 16. Tatra evam sati kartaram atmanam kevalam tuya pashyate akriti buddhi tava nasa pashyati durmati. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Therefore, one who thinks himself the only doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. Okay, so now if we see right from shlok number 14 onwards until this 16 shlokas, so Krishna is explaining what happens technically when an activity takes place. Whatever activity, or we call it as karma, right? Whatever actions or activity that take place, he's saying that there are 5 factors that influence an action. So whatever happens or whatever is happening, whatever you are doing, so 5 factors are very important. Actually, any influence or any action we do, it is based on the 5 factors. Now, if you see, every person thinks that I am only the doer. So I am only doing it, and that is why it is happening. So that is called as murkha, right? So we'll see what are these 5 factors that basically influence any kind of action. Now, if we remember from chapter number 13, we discussed something about Kshetra and Kshetragya. So, any idea what is Kshetra and Kshetragya? Any guesses? If you can recall from chapter number 13, we have discussed.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Kshetra is our body and Kshetrajna is the knower of the body.
Yeah, very, very nice. Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, rightly said, Kshetra is body. And Kshetragya, we can say knower of the body. We can also sometimes say it as a soul, because we discussed this before. We are soul, right? And as a soul, we know our body. And it is said that a person who knows about the body and soul, a person who knows the body and soul is called knowledge. So if you ask anybody, he will always identify himself with his body or with his name. But actual knowledge is one who knows both body and the soul. And actually, the soul is more important. We are soul, because body is like a cloth. We can always, it will decay and we will just leave it and go to another body. So we means soul. So that is why soul is so important. So if you see chapter number 13, we discussed about Kshetra and Kshetragya. And we know that what is body and soul. And Krishna knows everybody. So the way we know our body, but Krishna knows everybody, right? And he is staying in everybody. How he is staying in everybody? He is staying along with the soul, individual soul. He is staying as a Paramatma. So there is a very good analogy given, right? Where we can see many places the two birds are seeing. One is eating fruit and other is watching. Same way, what is happening actually? The bird who is eating that fruit, it is nothing but our soul. And one who is the bird, one who is observing, he is the Paramatma. So he will not object for anything. Whatever we do, whatever we decide and do, he will always allow. But only thing is the action of doing that work. So for any work can be classified as right or wrong. So whether we do a right thing or we do a wrong thing, that Paramatma will only observe. He will not object. He will not block you in doing that task. He will only observe. So one very interesting topic nowadays, which is coming up, is called as quantum computing. Have you heard about this term called as quantum computing, which is very popular nowadays? So this topic is very important, which is something we have to note here. Why this is very important? Quantum computing. So if you see that most of the time people make fun and they say, people who are, believer of the Shastra, they speculate about Lord, saying that Lord can stay in multiple places at the same time. We have seen that, right? Lord is telling in some of the shlokas in Vedas that at one particular time, he can exist in multiple places. He can. So we have seen that when Lord married to 16,108 gopis, at the same time, he can exist with them. So people make a fun of it. They say it is just a speculation. It is just in the books. But we know that whatever Lord tells, it's a absolute truth, right? It cannot be wrong. And actually, that is only the truth. Whatever we are seeing in this material world, whatever is happening, it is just a speculation because there is no truth behind it. So we are talking about this quantum computing, right? Nowadays, with artificial intelligence, the advancement of this robotics and artificial intelligence is something called as quantum computing is very famous. Why it is very famous, we'll see that. So if you remember, Krishna says in one of the shlokas that I am the atom. So we know that the smallest particle is atom, right? So, and in one place, so throughout the Bhagavad Gita and Puranas, we know that Krishna is saying, I am there in every part and particle, right? I am the atom. Within the atom also I am there. I am the atom. And he is clearly declaring that he can reside in multiple places at the same time. And now, if you see this, why we are discussing about this quantum computing, because now the scientists are also saying that an atom can exist in two places at the same time. So we'll not go too much detail on to this science, but with that, we can actually relate because see, until we see something, we don't believe. And whatever is written in Shastras, we always try to negate. But now slowly things are coming up. So see, there was time, if you consider some 20, 30 years back, if somebody says ki two people are there placed in different places or different geography or countries, they cannot talk to each other. But through mobile phones, now we can realize that it is very much possible, right? So like that, people don't believe that Lord can exist in multiple places at the same time. But now with the advancement of technology, people can relate all those things. All this advancement, people can relate. And quantum computing is one of that. And if you see that now, what is happening, people used to say that supercomputers are so fast that it can compute million of computation in just fraction of second. But now with advancement of this quantum computing, where an atom can exist multiple places at the same time, the speed of the computer will be so much that it will, if you combine millions of supercomputers together, it will be this quantum computing will be faster than that. So you can imagine what will be the speed of a computer in coming days. So the whole point of bringing this is trying to understand that if whatever written in Shastras, whatever Krishna or Lord has declared is not speculation, right? We jivas, since we have some power of, we are part and parcel of Lord, we have some power. Through that, we are able to actually discover or invent some of the things, but not all. So if you see shlok number 13, it is saying, O mighty armed Arjuna, according to Vedanta, there are 5 causes for the accomplishment of all the actions. So Krishna is telling this to Arjuna. There are 5 factors. And in shlok number 14, Lord is describing about these 5 factors. So what are these 5 important factors? So the first one is the place of action. So the place of action is nothing but the body. So where the things are happening, actually, it is the body where the things of action is happening, because it is inventing from that. We have the mind intelligence from where whenever we plan to do some action, it starts from that body. The original origin is from that body, and the performer is the soul, right? Soul is the performer. And so that is the second factor. What is the third factor? Our various senses is the third factor. And then what is the fourth factor? The fourth factor is different kind of our endeavors. And ultimately, the fifth factor is the super soul. So these are the 5 factors of action. Any action that is going to happen or previously happened, these 5 factors are the causes, the important elements: the place of action, the performer, the various senses, then many kind of endeavors, and ultimately the super soul. And now, if you see in these 5 factors, the fifth factor is the final authority, which is super soul. So final authority is Krishna. So what it means, though these first 4 factors are the causes, but the fifth factor, which is super soul or the Krishna, he sanctions, then only any action is accomplished. If you see, Vyasa also told this Dhritarashtra, since Krishna is in the side of Arjuna, victory is certain. So people who don't follow Vedanta and God, they are actually just speculating. Because to accomplish anything, the sanction of Lord is very important. And if you see Shlok number 15, here it is saying, whatever right or wrong action a man performs by body, mind or speech is caused by these 5 factors. So this word right and wrong, it is very significant. It is very significant in this verse. So the right work is work done in terms of prescribed direction. So prescribed direction in the scriptures. So how we'll know whether whatever we are doing it is right or wrong? If it is prescribed in scripture, then we can only say that this is right. Whatever we are doing which is against the scripture, that we can say it is wrong. And that is actually the work done against the principle of scriptural injunctions. But whatever is done requires these 5 factors for its complete performance, whether you do anything which is right or wrong. And then in Shlok number 16, if you see, Shlok number 16 says, therefore one who thinks himself the only doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. So who is not intelligent? Who is actually ignoring, who is thinking that he is only the doer. And he don't consider that these 5 factors are the most important for accomplishing any kind of work. So a foolish person cannot understand that the super soul is sitting as a friend within and conducting this or his actions. So although the material causes are the place, the worker, the endeavor, and the senses, the final cause is supreme, the personality of Godhead. So therefore, one should see not only the four material causes, but the supreme cause as well. He has to consider that finally the sanction who approves is the supreme. And one who does not see and he thinks himself as the doer is actually not the intelligent person. Now, if you try to see with a analogy or example, when you go to a bank, you most of the person will have some bank locker, right? So in a bank, when you open a locker, what happens? So in a bank locker, there are two keys, right? There are two keys. So one key will be handed over to you and one key will remain with the bank manager. So you can consider that that manager is the god for that bank locker because with your personal key you can open that, but the door of your locker will not open until the manager will open with his keys. So that is the reason this fifth factor is so important. And who is this fifth factor? He is nothing but the Lord. And we have to remember for devotees, Lord is always with us. So devotees will do handle material things, but for the service of Lord. So that is only the difference between a devotee and non-devotee. A non-devotee will do whatever actions or whatever karma, he will do it for his personal gain or for his personal pleasure. But a devotee will always consider a service for the Lord and do any kind of actions. So that way, he will always connect with Lord. When you do a service or when you do a karma for the service of Lord, so what is actually a doing something for the service of Lord? It is actually a way to connect with Lord. You see, when Srila Prabhupada, he was having only 40 rupees in his pocket, and somewhere he was, he was nearing at the age of 70, and he decided to travel to the West. And that time, the only medium was through ship. And the journey was like, it takes 1 to 2 months to travel in the ship to reach there. And during the journey, he got 2 heart attacks. And he was telling Lord that if I get the third attack, I won't survive. And before leaving for US, everybody said Srila Prabhupada that whatever you are doing, it is not the right thing. Don't do at this age. We also, if we were there in that circumstances, we would have said the same thing, isn't it? So the ship owner, her name was Sumati, she also actually objected. And she also said, Prabhupada, कि this journey is very painful. It is very difficult to survive at this age. So consider again before going. And Srila Prabhupada said, no, I will go because this is for Krishna's mission. I have to go. And then we see that how painful that journey was. He got 2 heart attacks. And then after landing in US, he was having no place. Nobody was there to look after him. So anybody who will see these conditions or circumstances, he will say this is a gone case project. This mission is just gone case. Just similar thing what happened before the Mahabharata war. So Duryodhana was he was jumping with joy when he got the Narayani Sena. And he was thinking that victory is certain for him. And he was jumping with joy before the war started. He was thinking Pandava's victory is having no chance. Similarly, everybody was thinking Srila Prabhupada's mission is just a failure for sure. Now, Krishna is saying, Arjuna, that, and he's saying very boldly, my devotee will never be a failure. So you might have also experienced similar things in your lifetime. Whenever you put some effort, or maybe you might have put very hard effort to accomplish something, but it has not happened. But many times what happened, with very less effort also, you get the result. Do you have this similar experience in your lifetime? If you can share, or you can share at the end of the class. So we have seen during the Corona times as well, many devotees took a risk to distribute Bhagavad-gītā and Prasadam. Right? So many people, a lot of people were suffering, they were sick. And ISKCON devotees, they took risk. They took a risk of their life and they distributed Bhagavad-gītā and Prasadam, because people cannot go out and buy things. The situation was so difficult. So it says like in Delhi itself, ISKCON distributed around 14,000 packets per day. And then not only that, in our center here also, the devotees publish the helpline numbers. If anybody need food, then they just call and devotee will come to their home and they will distribute the food prasadam. And people who got this kind of help during this hard time, they later said they also want to contribute. They also want to do some contribution to the organization. But devotee said, just chant and read Srila Prabhupada books. So this 5th factor is the main factor. Remaining other 4 factors, in fact, depends on that. So until Super Soul or the Lord sanctions, you cannot actually perform or accomplish your work. We have also seen during Prahlad pastime how Narasimha Dev actually rescued Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj father, he did all kind of things, right? All kind of, so we can say all those above 4 factors he tried to do with his body, with his senses. He tried to kill Prahlad. But the fifth factor was Krishna. He was protecting Prahlad. And we have also seen how Draupadi was saved by Krishna. So if we chant sincerely, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and follow the Vedanta and act for the service of Lord, then this fifth factor will be always with us. You see, in Mahabharata, before the war start, within 45 minutes, 700 slokas were told by Lord to Arjuna. And Arjuna, who was totally frustrated, given up, he got up and said, I am ready to fight. So most of the people, they actually defactor Lord. People think due to science advancement, everything is happening. We are thinking we are moving forward, but actually we are moving backward. So at least we should start believing that soul exists. At least we should believe that consciousness exists. And then only gradually we'll start making progress. There is a lot of saying that people also says that ignorance is a bliss. But you see, just like a drunkard, after drinking, he feel he is floating in heaven. He is residing in heaven. But a normal person can see him. He may be falling in some drain on some gutter, but he is thinking that he is residing in heaven. So as long as we are ignorant, we are far away from reality. So the whole thing is wherever God is there, the victory is certain. So thank you so much. So we'll end the class here. Anything anybody would like to add, your experiences, or any questions, please feel free to discuss. Hare Krishna. Mataji, anybody, Prabhuji, anybody want to discuss about their experience where they have felt this key with very small effort also they can achieve something, and with very rigorous efforts also they could not able to get their goal. Because if we are the doer, we can do anything, right? But we discuss about these 5 factors, and where we said ki the 5th factor is the most important. And that is why many times what happens ki with so much effort also, we don't accomplish something.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanvat Pranam to everybody assembled. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, thank you very much. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for
Hare
associating.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I would just like to request all the devotees and yourself to kindly pray for my father. He is undergoing a neck surgery right now in the hospital. Let us all chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra once, Prabhuji.
So, Kalani Mataji's father, he is going
Mr. KBR Prasad.
KVR Prasad. Will chant 3 times for his speedy recovery. Let's chant 3 times. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you all devotees. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. So we'll pray for him. So we'll pray for all the devotees for their spiritual progress. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ग्रंथराज भगवद गीता की जय। So we'll join tomorrow again and see the other shlokas. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Sangat Pranam. Hare
Thank
Krishna
you,
to all
Prabhuji.
devotees
Hare
assembled here.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Kalyani Mataji will certainly pray for your father's speedy recovery. May Lord Narsim Dev keep him protected.
Jai.
Thank you
Jai.
so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.